Hi, it's Jamie with Jamie's Arts a la Cartes. Thank you very much for joining me. I have a fun project planned for us today. I hope this video inspires you to create something of your own. If you would, hit the like button and share the video with your friends. That helps me to grow this channel and to continue to bring you new projects. If you haven't subscribed yet, would you please consider subscribing? And if you have, thank you very much. Well, we have a lot to do, so let's get to it. Alright, today we're going to be creating little packages, presents for our little elf trees that we have. And we're just going to use these simple little foam dice from the Dollar Tree, along with some of the plastic tablecloths, some cute little bows. Pull it all together with some hot glue. Alright, let's see if I can get this picture I have in my head, if I can make it come to life. This should be a fun one. We have a lot to do. Let's get to it. So my husband built this really cool stand for me for when I'm filming. And then we just added this little arm, extra arm. So we'll see how it does for us today. Isn't that cool? Just took some stuff we had laying around and made a really cool stand for me. Alright, nice and close up. That stand is working like a charm. Okay, so when I put my plastic tablecloth over my cube, you could see through it. Even if I doubled it up with the red underneath it, you could still see through it. So I'm going to give these a quick little coat of an eggshell paint and primer. My favorite price, 50 cents. Can't return it, but I never do. Never want to. So we'll just spread these out and we'll get them painted on 3 sides and then flip them over. And again, these are just the dice from the Dollar Tree. So this is a nice inexpensive project to add a little oomph to my little elf trees. Went with gray, hoping that it would cover all the different colors. Went out to the she shed and forgot my paint can opener, and it's starting to storm. So we're just going to make do with what we got, which is a screwdriver. I have multiples. I have to remember to bring one of those in. So we're just going to get this opened up. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I like using the house paint. It's less expensive than even using a less expensive craft paint. And it's easy to work with. So I did dampen my brush, just plain old water. It's almost time to cut apart another water bottle. But this will work just fine. So I'm just going to basically, might only have to have one coat. That'd be nice. So I'm just basically painting these, giving them a little coat. Help cover those little dots and make them a uniform color. I was thinking I might put ribbon on these. Not really sure. We'll have to see how it all turns out. All right, there's our first coat. And dry. It's going to take at least 2 coats, so I'm going to put another coat and then get that bottom edge that I didn't get. So we'll work on getting that done. I want to just try something. Some of them soak through a lot more than others, but let's just see. It's almost not enough. So let me find the very worst one. Maybe we don't need a second coat. You know what? I'm going to put a second coat, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the sides that are really bad for when I cover this. Like that one, I'm going to call that one okay. Versus that one. So let's do it that way. That will save a little bit of time. It'll be just one more drying time. So we'll figure out which one is the worst of the sides. If we don't have to do all the sides, then we won't. Maybe go a different direction would help. All right, so we're going to call that okay. And be a little bit heavy on this side so that we can get by with not having to do another coat after this. There we go. All right. Go a different direction. All right, so we've got our blocks painted. Nice little gray finish on them. I wanted to make a template for the little plastic I want to put around it to decorate it. So I just took an old piece of newspaper, and I basically, just like I would wrap a package, got my size, and it'll fit just right there. So what I'm going to do next is cut the strip off the bottom of this tablecloth. All right, so I've made a couple just to get an idea of how I want it to look. And I was like, that might be too busy on the tree, so I'm going to do some red and some patterned. And the way that I'm sticking these little bows on it, so I'm not taking that off because where we live we have a lot of humidity. So I'm literally just bending it back. Oh, and I did switch to a low temp glue gun because I have my fingers all up in there and it got a little intense. So I decided to save my fingers a little grief and just sort of press that down. And then what I'm doing is which side is the ugliest? That's where I put the bow. We'll do a whole one here in just a second. I'm trying to get along the edges of that tablecloth with the glue, because then I'm going to press it down with this and then give it a real hard press there in the center. And there we are. So another thing I did is I went into my sewing bucket and I clipped them together. Makes it easier when you want to cut several at a time. And I just, doesn't have to be exact precise. When I'm cutting those strips, the other thing I wanted to show you is I'm literally laying the two ends together and cutting like that so that I can get two cuts at a time, and then cut it down. So that was one thing to help save time. So now let's just see how many of these we can knock out how quickly. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this and I'm figuring out where it would be halfway, and just give myself a little line, and then you can barely see it, and I'm not sure the camera can pick that up, but then what I do is I put just a little bit of glue below that line, and then I'm going to pick this up and put it right on that glue line. I'm going to kind of press it down. That helps flatten the glue so you don't have a big old ridge. I'm going to unroll it, and then I'm going to go just on the little corners. That seemed to work well. And so now I can go kind of tight, not like stretch it hard tight, but just taunt. Taunt would be a better way to say it. And get these two. That gives it an anchor. And if it's cut a little long, this is cut just right. But what you could do is, if you wanted it shorter, this makes it easy just to go in and cut like a little smidge off if you wanted to. That was going to go right up to the edge, so anything less is fine. So then again, I'm going to come and see where I need to put my glue line, something like that. I'm going to go just to the underside of it. And I can touch that without hurting myself because it's a low temp. I mean, it's warm, but it doesn't hurt. All right, so now I've got it just like you would a package. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the two seam sides down, the edges, and then the top flap to give it a nice finished look. So I do the same thing. I come in here and I put a line where I want my glue. Kind of open it up because this will, the nozzle on this glue gun it'll melt. See that? It just melts it. So you try not to touch. It's not the end of everything if you do touch. It's just you can see where you do. It could either melt it or you just see it. Push all that down. This has a stand, but then it leaks really fast, so I just leave it on the packaging. So again, make my line. And press everything down. This one overlaps, so I need to pull that flap up and put just a smidge of glue there. Alright, so there's our package. Get all our stray stringies off. And so now, I see that got cut just a little rough, so I'm going to just clean that up right now. Try to cut it a little better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to glue in here, and then fold it over. So I'm going to actually put it in here, and then right in here. Doesn't take a lot. Doesn't take a lot of glue for it to stay in place. So that's a good thing. So then just fold it down, hold it for a second, and there we are. Same thing. So we're going to give it to here, to here. So what I'm doing is that was only one squeeze on the trigger, but then what I did is I spread it out by pulling it. Okay, so then that's like your last little flap. And I see so then I want to put glue here, here, and up to there. So and it'll look something like that. So again, we're going to bend it down. And then hold it down till it sets. And again, we're going to draw us a little line. We want to go all the way up to there. And then we're going to pull this taut. And just fold it over on me. Let's see if I can pull it out at all. something like that. Okay, let's see. Good thing with this tablecloth, this material, it actually stretches just a little bit, so I needed it to right there. So we have this side closed really nice. This one not so much, so guess where I put the bow? Right there. So I have these from the Dollar Tree, and they come in all kinds. Red, well, they come in all kinds, but what I picked was the silver, gold, red, and white. And I want to go a red one, so we'll again fix the bow to this flat piece here, and then I'm going to go again over all those seams, and then I'm going to set this bow on top of it just to sort of seat it all together. So these aren't out in the direct weather, these little trees that these go on. They're on a covered porch, which is why I think I can get away with this hot glue and not E6000 or something like that. We'll find out after that first year, won't we? Alright, there it is. It's a cute little package. So this is what it looks like with white on there. And then with the silver on there. They're all cute. Alright. Let's do another one. Let's do a red one this time. Alright, we have a couple left to make. So I tweaked this process along the way, so I just wanted to show you. So what I started doing is putting, instead of letting it run out, just dabbing it on there. That seemed to control how much glue came out a little better. Pressing this on here and then pressing it, that helped to not have globs of glue there. And then same thing, just kind of helping it to tack into place. Then the tiniest little bit of glue. And then rolling it. And then That's a little longer than I would like it, so I'm just going to take a smidge off of it. It's way easier to cut it once it's got all that glue holding it in place. So I look where it's at and then give it a little bit of glue and then wipe the tip off right there. That'll help hold that piece. Press it down. Again, I did go to a low temp gun, easier on my fingers. And then I glue one flap at a time when it's just little, where the little edges meet. So that means I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in just maybe 4 spots and then fold it over on the glue. And then do that again on the other side and go where it'll overlap. So it's just a little bit of glue. Press it down, hold it till you can kind of feel the temperature go away. That way you know it's like holding into place. And then I'm going to do these 2 sides. And so what I was doing with that is just a little bit of glue there, and then coming on the triangle part and giving a little bit and then stretching it is the key that I learned. It's the whole stretching that glob of glue, and there's no ridge. So that helped make it a little cleaner look. So again, I'm going to get on that corner. I'm going to drop a little bit in here, and I'm stretching and pulling it, and then folding it over. And then here, I'm going to kind of open that up so that I can get a little dab of glue down in there, and then on each of these little flaps, and fold it over. It makes a pretty clean presentation. I do the same thing on the other side. And pull it over. Kind of help the corners to look nicer and cleaner when I did it this way. And then again, we're going to go in the corner, get down in that little pocket, and then on that triangle all the way up to the tip. And then hold it over until it catches hold. Get the corner, put some down in that pocket, and then on the flap, and then come down like where the edge of that cube is. I'll show you what I mean. I say the edge of the cube, I'm getting it right there on that line that lines up with the corner of the cube. And then here, I'm going to open it up, and I'm literally going to use my little tool and you just get it open so that you can drop a little bead of glue in there. And I'm being patient, and I want it to drop, and then do it on the flaps. And then push it over and seal it up. get all the little webbing off, but other than that, it really has really those little tricks right there help it to turn out pretty nice. And the other thing I learned was to do all these little bows assembly line style. So do all the where you're catching it on this backing. Do them all at one time. Just hold it into place. Takes just a second for that to catch. And then what I did is I covered the blocks, and then I went and put all these on at one time. I was able to get these done in a pretty short time. And again, this is just to help hold that little backing onto the foil bow itself. Just for durability. Push our bow back in place, and there it is. All right, well, now it's time to put them on the tree and see how they look. I may make some larger ones, but this was what I was going for in this project, creating this size. They're pretty cute. They're just those little foam dice from the Dollar Tree. The bows were from the Dollar Tree. The tablecloths were from the Dollar Tree. Glue sticks. So this was a very economical project. But I could see, you know, my kids were still young in school. This would be a cute little classroom project. So there they are. This is what we were going for. That'll complete our project this time. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And well, until next time, happy crafting!